Welcome, my name is Tolu. I'm your friendly relationship counselor. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to date the right man. The purpose of this particular teaching is to give you clarity around what you're getting wrong, how to adjust your dating habits, and make sure that you are on the right path towards meeting the right man. If you would like to get more clarity on this for your specific situation, make sure you apply for a Dating to Marry makeover call below. This 30-minute session will give you clarity around where you're making mistakes, what you're doing wrong, and why you haven't met your husband yet. This 30-minute call is only application based, and the link will be below. Now, I want to walk you through the 5 steps to make sure that you are dating to marry the right man. The first step is making sure that you are clear. Clarity looks different at different stages of a relationship, but simply this means that what is the vision for the relationship? Why exactly are you desiring of a relationship? What are you hoping to achieve? What's the goal? Where do you and your partner need to work on? And as a single woman in the dating scene, what does it look like for for a man to show up and be clear about his intentions and his actions? And how does that affect the way you are attracted to him? We uncovered this in the Dating to Marry program, which is my 12-week program where I show you how to attract, date, and marry the right man for you, as I have done successfully with our clients that are now out of toxic cycles of dating and engaged and even married, and some are now mothers as well. But it is an important step in making sure that you are clear about your expectations before you handle being in a relationship and entering the dating scene. And you can clearly establish this by looking at your experience, which I work you through in the Dating to Marry program. The second area that you really want to focus on is points of connection. Connection isn't as simple as looking for avenues of chemistry between you and your partner. Chemistry is a key part of connection. Chemistry simply means a natural attraction. It can only be experienced, it cannot be explained. I definitely get questions around, I'm not attracted to him, should I still date him? I'm not attracted to him, but he's financially stable, his faith is strong. Definitely in both instances, chemistry is trying to be explained, so it is not an experience, and that is not a prospective partner. You want to be actively going on dates with men that you are interested in naturally. So chemistry should be a natural experience on those dates for you, and it is not something that you can talk your way out of or talk your way into. It is there or it is not there. And in the Dating to Marry program, I really show you how to establish whether your chemistry towards a person is based on healthy or unhealthy patterns, because you may find that you're naturally attracted to toxic men, you're attracted to men that are not feasible options for a very healthy relationship. You may find that you have dating habits that attract you to men that are not the right the right prospects in making sure that you work towards a healthy marriage. But chemistry is a key leg of establishing connection, but you also want to look at whether or not you and your partner have physical points of connection. Like I've explained, chemistry is a key aspect of that, but you definitely want to look at what you both have in common, how you want to explore opportunities to get to know each other better, where the relationship is going to lead, how you both respond in physical spaces together. The 5 love languages are a good way of testing physical connection in terms of how much do you want to serve this person? Do you want to be in close zones of space physically with them? Are you interested in making sure that they're encouraged? Do you naturally think of them for gifts? Are you in a space where you want to speak life into them and you're enjoying how they respond to you? Those are easy ways to be able to identify physical connection. But emotional connection is made up of your mind, your will, and your emotion. I always tell my clients to use the fruits of the Spirit located in Galatians 5:22-23 to determine whether or not you are building emotionally healthy connection points with your partner. Are you seeing joy? Are you seeing peace? Are you feeling patience with that person? And it's going to be an easy way for you to establish whether your will in that relationship is tailored the right way. What I mean is, are you willing to be in a relationship that is bringing you joy, or are you compromising that aspect, which we'll get to shortly? And then another aspect of making sure that you are emotionally connected with that person the right way is your mind. How actively is your mind being transformed in that relationship? Is it serving you better or worse? Are you finding that you're developing as a person, or you're getting worse? Are you finding that the areas in which you have strength are being turned into weaknesses, or you're finding that you're becoming stronger, your weaknesses are becoming stronger as well? And how is it affecting your partner? We go through this in the Dating to Marry program because it's an easy way to be able to indicate whether or not you're dating in a in a healthy long-term relationship, or you're just reacting to a short-term relationship that has prospects and opportunities that are not even tangible in a realistic time frame towards the goal of marriage. Now, the final connection point, but the most important connection point, is spiritual connection. Are you both on the same level of faith? What I mean by that is, does he ascribe to your beliefs? Does he ascribe to the way that you hold your value system spiritually? Does he ascribe to the vision that you share in terms of your spiritual faith and capacity? Is he open to that kind of conversation and connection? That is key, because your spiritual self is the most undiluted part of you. And we explore this some more in the Dating to Marry program, where I walk you through the dating stages and how you can know when a man is right for you and how to lead with your value. Spiritual compatibility and connection is an important and key way of identifying that. The third step you do want to take is looking at your communication. Communication, I've seen this be a challenge with clients, which is why we spend time to understand in the Dating to Marry program. Communication is a challenge to clients. I've definitely seen that this is an area that needs a lot of work in terms of how relationships are growing, but it is a core pillar to make sure that the relationship has chances of being viable and being long-term. You want to make sure that there are communication windows that are actively being explored. Communication happens in 3 instances. It happens with God, with yourself, and with your partner. Communication with God needs to be an actively open communication zone, because that's the only way you're going to be able to develop your discernment capacity. Discernment capacity here just means the 5 senses in operation in the spirit as they are in the flesh. So what are you seeing? What are you sensing? What are you being shown? What are you feeling? What are you tasting? What are you smelling in the relationship? That is what discernment looks like in the spiritual realm. But in terms of communication, how you want to understand it through your relationship with God, through his Holy Spirit and our Lord Jesus Christ. And then you also want to make sure that communication with yourself is active. So if you want your partner to be trustworthy, you want them to be able to know how to love you, you first have to have that conversation with yourself. What do you like doing for fun? Are you a reliable, responsible person? Are you ready for a relationship that will involve your active commitment? How are you serving and showing up in the relationships that are currently in your life? Because that is going to influence how you're going to be able to communicate your partner, to communicate to your partner about your desires in a relationship. And then communication with your partner really involves being a student of their spirit. What I mean by that is being a student of what they enjoy doing, where they spend their time, when is the best time to have heavy and light conversations with them, how those conversations create avenues of an opportunity for you and your partner to be able to develop together and grow as a couple and as individuals, and how your relationship communicates, how both of you communicate in that relationship will really build a very strong, healthy system to make sure that both of you are secure in a way that is not negatively influenced by opinions of outsiders, be it your friends, family, and even strangers and acquaintances. Another area you want to look at to make sure that you're attracting the right men for marriage is making sure that you're looking at points of consistency. Consistency looks very different at different stages. I do see an unhealthy pattern with women expecting a man to be as consistent when you are just friends as if you were both in an exclusive relationship. So what we spend time doing in Dating to Marry is making sure that you have clarity around how to be consistent and realistic expectations of consistency depending on the stage you are at when you are dating. But consistency in the friendship stage could simply mean that he is actively involved in conversations with you, going on dates, he shows up to dates, he plans dates, you both are communicating when you are out of those dates. In a relationship means that consistency in terms of sticking with timelines, communicating timelines, making realistic, substantial, tangible plans together, engagements that evolves towards looking at wedding plans, premarital counseling, exploring options for living, talking about your health, and marriage will depend on your own marital templates, which I help you to know in the Dating to Marry program. You have negative patterns that everyone does that has put you in situations where you have questioned your values and your worth in terms of how consistent you are with your partner and how consistent they are with you. What I show you how to do in the Dating to Marry program is really understand points of consistency in the relationship that are important to establish towards the goal of marriage. And this will affect the way you date, who you date, why you go on dates, and what kind of men that you are entertaining and are attracted to on those dates that will lead you to viable prospects for the goal of marriage. Now, the final area you definitely want to work on is compromise. Compromise is the last area to work on because it definitely should not be the first area of exploration in a new relationship. Compromise changes in terms of the scale at which it is placed when you get married, because the foundation of consistency, clarity, communication, and connection has been laid. Compromise can only operate in a beneficial way in your relationship if you and your partner are actively exploring areas where you are willing to negotiate and sacrifice in interest of each other and the health of the relationship. But compromise should definitely not operate in areas that you're not willing to negotiate, which is why it's important to be clear on your expectations with your partner and how you enjoy the experience in the relationship and how connection is established and how it is communicated and how consistent you both are with those values before compromise can be built on a healthy foundation. But it does give an avenue for you and your partner to be able to experience the relationship in a very unique way that strengthens its tenacity. What I mean by this is, if you and your partner have established the pattern of consistency, communication, connection, and clarity, compromise can only operate in favor of making sure that the relationship is stronger and not against it. And if you have experienced any toxic relationship, situationship, or any area of unclarity, I do guarantee that compromise has been overly applied in that relationship in probably desperation to make it work or desperation to see some progress. But that is unfortunately the wrong angle to approach compromise from, which is why in the Dating to Marry program, I show you how to establish clarity, consistency, communication, connection, so that compromise strengthens those 4 areas in a way that allows your relationship to have tenacity, to be able to grow with the right roots for a strong marital foundation. Now, these 5 areas are going to help you to know how to date the right man. If you want to apply for a free makeover call, where in 30 minutes I show you what you're doing wrong, where you need to work on, and why you haven't attracted the right man, you will find the link below. I will encourage you to apply for that call, especially if you're ready to step into an area of dating that will lead you towards the right marriage. And the Dating to Marry program is going to be open very soon. If you are not in this program and you would like to be part of it, you can find all the details in the description box. It is a 12-week program where I walk you through your patterns, your positioning, and your posture to make sure that your process towards marriage is actively putting you on the right path and fast-tracking you towards marrying the right man. Now again, to briefly go over this point, you want to make sure that there's clarity, consistency, communication, connection, and then finally compromise to attract the right man. When you make changes in these areas, you are going to start dating to marry, and not only any marriage, but you're going to be dating to marry to make sure that you enter the right marriage for you that will allow you to blossom and bloom with the right partner. I will speak to you hopefully on the Dating to Marry makeover call. You can apply below.